Bull Bear Buzz Podcast for decoding markets, fueling minds. Okay, welcome to our deep dive into the source material you've shared.
Glad to be here.
Today, we're zoning in on the Indian stock market for May 29th, 2025. It looks like it was quite an interesting day.
It was. We saw a bit of a turnaround after a couple of down days.
Right, so our goal is to unpack what happened, look at the drivers, and touch on some specific company news, particularly Adani ports.
Exactly. Synthesize these reports to give you that clear picture of the day's action.
Let's start with the headlines then. The Sensex and Nifty 50, they both snapped that two-day losing streak.
They did. Closed higher on the 29th. The Sensex was up 321 points.
Which is about 0.39%, finishing at 81,633.02.
Mm-hmm. And the Nifty 50 added 81 points.
Okay, 0.33%, landing at 24,833.60.
And it wasn't just the main indices. The reports mentioned gains in the broader market, too. BSE mid-cap up nearly 0.5%.
And small cap also gained about 0.39%.
Yeah, and looking at the big contributors for the Sensex, well, you had names like HDFC Bank, Infosys, Reliance,
ICICI Bank, Axis Bank.
Yeah.
The usual heavyweights playing a role.
Definitely pushed the index higher.
So overall market cap, investors gained quite a bit, about 2 lakh crore.
That's the number mentioned, yeah. Pushing the total market cap close to, 446 lakh crore?
Big numbers, but the key question is always why? Why the bounce back on this particular day?
Well, the sources point to a couple of things. First, positive global cues seem to play a part.
Anything specific?
Yeah, there was news about a U.S. court blocking President Trump's proposed tariffs. That seemed to, ease some global trade worries.
Okay, that makes sense. And domestically. We're near the end of the month, right? F&O expiry often means volatility.
Exactly, and there was volatility. But despite that, the market saw strong buying interest pop up later in the day.
That late session rally.
Precisely. Helped recover from some dips earlier. And the underlying feeling, according to these reports, is still kind of positive for the medium to long term.
Supported by the macro environment.
Yeah, a healthy macro picture. So investors seem willing to buy when prices dip, even with that expiry choppiness.
Got it. Okay, let's zoom in a bit. Within the Nifty 50, how many stocks actually gained?
Sources say 37 out of the 50 closed higher, so pretty decent breadth within the index.
And the top gainers were?
IndusInd Bank led the pack, up almost 2.5%, then Sun Pharma up 2%, and Eternal up 1.8%.
And on the losing side?
HDFC Life saw the biggest drop, down just over 1%. BEL and Tata Consumer Products also slipped a bit.
What about sectors? Any standout?
Yeah. Metal stocks really shone. The Nifty Metal Index gained over 1.2%. That's quite strong.
Any others doing well?
Realty, IT, pharma, media. They were all up over 0.5% too, so fairly broad sectoral strength.
But not universal participation.
No, not quite. PSU banks actually snapped a winning streak. The Nifty PSU Bank Index was down slightly, about 0.24%.
Interesting. And FMCG?
Continued to be a bit sluggish, yeah. Down 0.13%, still in negative territory based on recent trends mentioned.
Looking at market breadth overall, lots of stocks hitting new highs.
Quite a few, yes. 92 stocks hitting 52-week highs. Names like Mazagon Dock, Solar Industries were mentioned.
That suggests wider confidence, doesn't it?
It does, though on the other side, 29 stocks hit 52-week lows. Orchid Pharma, Heart Ryan examples given there, so still some pockets of weakness.
Okay, now let's turn to that specific corporate news you mentioned earlier, Adani ports.
Right. A significant development reported. They completed a large bond sale.
How large are we talking?
5,000 crore rupees. 50 billion rupees raised via 15-year bonds.
And the terms?
The coupon rate was 7.75%. And interestingly, the entire issue was bought by a single entity.
Oh, who was that?
Life Insurance Corporation of India, LIC.
Wow, okay. What's the significance of this whole deal?
Well, several points highlighted. It's Adani Ports' biggest rupee bond issue since early 2024. And it's seen as their first major return to this kind of debt market after those allegations surfaced back in 2023. Allegations the company denies, of course.
Right. And getting it fully subscribed by LIC at that rate?
Yeah.
What does that signal?
It suggests pretty strong confidence from a major institution like LIC, which, the reports note, was already a big holder of their debt. Plus, the pricing was apparently very good for Adani Ports.
How so?
They got the lowest spread over the equivalent government bond yield in about 7 years. Basically a low borrowing cost relative to the benchmark.
So a successful raise on good terms. Could this mean more from the Adani Group in the debt market.
That's the implication suggested in the sources, yes. This could potentially make it easier for other group companies to tap the local debt market going forward.
Okay. And just quickly, the market was also looking ahead to some economic data, right?
Yeah, GDP numbers for the March quarter were due out the next day, May 30th. Projections were hovering around 6.9% for Q4 FY25.
And for the full year.
Around 6.3% for 2024-25 was the consensus mentioned.
And commodities reacted a bit too. Gold down, oil up.
Seems like it, yeah. Likely linked to that reduced tariff risk perception after the U.S. court news. Gold dipped slightly, crude edged higher.
So bring it all together from this deep dive. It really shows how global news, domestic factors like F&O expiry, underlying economic sentiment, and big corporate actions like this Adani bond sale all sort of weave together on any given trading day.
Absolutely. It's never just one thing, is it? Understanding how these different layers interact gives you, the listener, a much richer picture than just the headline index number.
Well said. And just before we wrap up, please remember, the information provided is for educational purposes only and not financial advice. We are not SEBI-registered advisors.
Investing in stocks carries risks, including potential loss. Consult a SEBI-registered advisor before deciding.
We are not liable for any losses from decisions based on this information. For more unbiased update, please subscribe to Bull Bear Buzz Podcast.